Well, it's 9:44. You're watching Arc Maine right here on Fox 23. There's a lot on the line in November, including who will be in the Oval Office. But here in Maine, there's also another question.
Yeah, should the state flag be changed? And now we know what that new flag will look like if Maine voters decide to make that change.
That's right. Here to discuss that design and some others that didn't make it is Secretary of State Shenna Bellows. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. What a treat.
I know. This has been such a fun process to follow. Can you kind of talk about obviously the winning design and sort of the process of choosing this?
So the legislature decided that Maine voters should have an opportunity. Does Maine want to restore the 1901 flag as our state flag? It was replaced in 1909 by the seal on the blue background, but the traditional pine tree state flag is a pine tree on a buff background with a blue star. They couldn't quite decide what that pine tree should look like, so I had the great privilege of having it delegated by law to me to pick one. I am not an artist. So we decided to hold a contest, and it was an international contest, and people, over 400 submissions were presented, and I recruited an advisory panel, Republican legislators, Democratic legislators, the Maine state historian, other experts, and they helped me pick the finalist.
You know, it's funny when I talk to people about the picking out the flag and everything else like that, the one thing they said is like, oh my gosh, we have something fun that we can vote on in November instead of just like, are we going to, update a water treatment facility or vote for president? We can vote on a flag. It's actually, they were like entertained by it and fun.
Yeah, it's a fun process, right? And it really is just a matter of taste. Do you prefer the simplicity of the pine tree and the North Star on the buff background? Or do you prefer the classic state seal on the blue background? It really is up to you.
Yeah, and so this is the winning design, correct?
That's right. So this is the winning design. An architect, Adam Lemire from Gardiner, was chosen. His design was chosen. It has the 16 branches for the 16 counties, and he talked about, we judged blind. We had no idea who submitted. So it could have been an international submission, it could have been anyone, but it was an architect, Adam Lemire from Gardiner, Maine. And he talked about taking his 3-year-old son for walks in Capitol Park in Augusta after I called him, and going to Viles Arboretum, to Governor's Grove, which has trees for all the governors. And it was a tree in Governor's Grove that inspired him. And then he did make those adjustments, the 16 branches for the 16 counties. Now, his wife was in labor in the last day of the contest.
No!
So he literally went to the hospital. He was putting the final touches on the design, submitted it from the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
He was that dedicated.
I don't think we knew that. That's amazing.
It's our nugget of the day, too.
A big shout out to Adam Lemire for a beautiful design that gives voters a choice.
Right.
Why do you think that? What pushed him over the top to win this? Because a lot of them kind of look the same, but what was it about this one?
I think that the roots was something that people really liked. The advisory panel, the 16 branches for the 16 counties, and the lifelike design. So there was a hot debate. Do we go with a more modern interpretation that is stylized, something that has been made very popular on indoor yards around the state, or something more lifelike? At the end of the day, the advisory panel recommended the more lifelike design.
What did it mean for you personally, just when you got the design and then you realized it's a man who lives in Gardiner, Maine? I mean, did that make it a little more special?
I was thrilled when so I said to my staff, okay, who was it? And they looked it up and they got his contact information. I called him, and then to hear his story about how much thought he put into it and how rooted it was.
With the baby on the way.
Right? Yes.
Incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, and so not only did he have the winning flag, the design, you have some others you want to share with us too.
Sure.
Some of the ones that are like, look like they were made by kids, and some other ones that were just really cool looking, right?
Yeah, there's a variety.
There were so many cool designs.
Yeah.
So there were over 400 submissions. I looked at every single one. There was a top 10.
Oh, cool.
Can't really see it for folks at home, but there were, and again, all the requirements were the pine tree on the buff background with the North Star. So some of them you can see departed,
I like this one.
These are cool, right?
Yeah, these are both really cool.
They're really cool. The reason we didn't move forward with these is they departed from the assignment, right? This one brought in our mountains and our ocean. It's gorgeous. but the legislature really was looking to restore that 1901 flag. This one also has some water and some design on the side.
Turn it into a poster or something.
You know,
like there's
I like
shouldn't go to waste.
I like this one too. Right?
Yeah, this one is really cool with the tree over on the side. I think one of the things that this design contest tells us is there are lots of ways to interpret, just very simple instructions, the pine tree and the North Star. And I think for anyone that's already producing this design, there are some really popular flags that are flying in dooryards that are on merchandise. I saw LL Bean boots last summer with a pine tree and a star. Anyone that's already producing their version of the 1901 flag, that's perfectly acceptable. At our inception of our country, flags were sewn by hand or painted by hand. So when you look at historic flags, even when they have certain language in the law, they all look very different. And that variety, that diversity is wonderful.
Special.
What's your gut feeling about November? They're going to like the old one? They're going to like the new one? I mean, you get a little forecasting?
I'm not the best political prognosticator, but I think, here's the thing, this is a freedom, a choice. Anybody could weigh in, and everybody's a winner.
And maybe it'll drive some people to the polls who have an interest, So
maybe you're tired of politics, but you're excited about the idea of either the classic design or the 1901 in its modern incarnation.
Yeah, make voting fun again. Right
exactly.
there you go.
That's right. Question 5 is making voting fun again.
Secretary Bellows, thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah, we have to sweet talk you to come in again, huh?
Yes,
maybe closer to
definitely.
Election Day.
I'll come back
All right,
anytime.
sounds good.
We'll offer a coffee next time.
Yeah.